this is Tracy with Watch Kansas, and today we're talking to Dan Clemens. And Dan, welcome to Watch Kansas.
Thank you.
Dan's running for the Lansing City Council. Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the position you're running for, and just a brief, maybe 1 or 2 minute background, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Well, in Lansing, we have 4 wards, and each ward has 2 councilmen. And I am running for the office that is up for election in Ward 4.
Okay, and my understanding is half of your wards you elect one year, and then 2 years later the other half, so that way there's always some experience and...
Exactly. So half of them, 1 from each ward, will be up for re-election this cycle, and then in 2 years the other half will be up. So the entire election period for any one person is 4 years.
I like that. I also like the way they stagger them, so that way everybody's got...
There's some continuity.
Yeah, no matter what, you've got the continuity and the experience, and you've got a chance to have some new blood.
Yes.
Now, one of the things we were talking about before the interview started was the difference in politics as usual and supporting the people. I know you're big on supporting the people and not politics as usual. How do you want to go about, how are you going to plan on going about supporting the people after you're elected?
Well, I don't think politics has a place in government. Government exists to provide a service to the citizens they represent.
I like that.
And so I think the citizens should know what's happening in the government, be given opportunity to tell their representatives what they like and not like, and I think it's up to the representative to reflect their constituents' needs and wants to the government. I don't believe in a big government. I think government doesn't know what families and people need. It's the people that need to tell the government what they need from them.
Hey, didn't we talk about that in 1776?
Yes.
Got a little bit away from that sometimes, haven't we?
I also belong to the Founders Keep, which studies the Constitution.
And
Because
I'm having a fundraiser fee later this month.
Yes, you are. And because how can you enforce something you don't know about?
Exactly, and I think a lot of times we've gotten too far away from our origins,
Yes.
and sometimes it's nice to get back to a little closer to our origins. Government is a necessary evil. I don't think any politician or any government official or anybody running for an office is going to disagree with that, and keeping it smaller and closer to the public, I think that's best. Transparency. The best government maybe is the most transparent, maybe not so much as Thoreau said, the government which governs least governs best. Maybe it's the government that governs more transparent.
I think it's up to the government to inform and educate the citizens they represent about what's happening in government. Now, Lansing does a good job. They have an academy that they call the Citizens Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And they take the citizens that go through it, and they teach them about every office and every business process in the city. So the citizens understand how the city works and what they need to do should a problem come up. They know who to go to. And I'll be going through that in this September, because that's the earliest that they have one available for me.
That actually sounds interesting for everybody, probably high schoolers and
It is open to everybody
from
that's
high
in
schoolers to
Lansing.
grandparents alike. Yeah.
Anybody that wants it, they can get a hold of Ken Miller there in the Public Works Department, and he'll get you enrolled.
I like that. And one of the things we talked about with communication, such as maybe doing a podcast later on.
Absolutely. Once we get into office and we start looking at the different ways we can make Lansing a more vibrant city, bringing in bigger businesses, box stores that represents revenues, lowering taxes, making it more attractive for them to come in, maybe establishing our own fire department. I know it's not the best subject to approach, but I think it's one that makes sense, because if we get our own fire department, we can get the insurance on businesses lower, which again is going to bring in more revenues.
Yeah, I wasn't really aware of the whole situation with the fire department until a group of us were talking about that earlier, and that is a little bit concerning. I can see if you're wanting to have a larger fire department and other entities are kind of preventing that, I agree that you should be allowed to have a larger fire department. That's only safe. I mean, I want a fire truck down the street for me when something happens. I know I've been in situations where we've had to call 911, and thankfully the fire department arrived very quickly, but I don't live, I live elsewhere. And you were saying that because of the lack of fire service, fire coverage, that's actually increases the taxes on business?
Well,
That's an insurance?
the Lansing Fire Department is still considered a volunteer fire department. They do have some full-time staff, but they're still considered a volunteer fire department. They belong to a fire board, and it's a co-op between different townships, and they have to respond to each and every fire in their districts.
Okay.
And they share the wealth on tax dollars. Lansing recently tried to break away from that and build their own for some of the reasons that we discussed.
Yeah.
And the smaller townships took them to court, and the fire board took them to court, and the courts ordered the city to cease and desist. So I think that we need a plan to get there from here.
I agree. And being able to provide better fire service and therefore lower insurance costs would definitely go a long way, I'm sure, towards bringing in more business.
It only makes sense.
I noticed, there doesn't seem to be as many large vacant buildings as there used to be. I've seen some of the vacant buildings seem to be a little more full over the past few years, but by no means what it used to be back when we were all in our 20s.
Yes, and some of the businesses are being refurbished for other purposes. Lansing has done a good job. They've gotten the Quick Trip in, they've got the car wash between them, they've got a coffee shop in the area that's down there, just off of Eisenhower that you see all the bulldozers. I believe that's a Harbor Freight that's going to be coming in. So they are attracting some businesses, but they've got that big area over there by the school right off the 4th Street that I think they could get some more in there if they have the support of the council. I'm not saying that they don't, I just think we need to really focus on that.
Put more of a big push.
Right.
Now, if people want to get a hold of you, he's very easy to get a hold of. I had no problems getting a hold of him at any point in time. Can you go ahead and let Kansas know how to get a hold of you?
Call me on my cell. It's always with me, 913-702-5027. Or you can email me at danclemens4the4th@gmail.com.
Is that numeric 4 or FOR?
Numeric 4.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
it's the fourth ward.
Gotcha. Now, please reach out to Dan. There are 3 things he's going to need from you over the next few months. He's going to need your support financially because running the campaign is never inexpensive. He's going to need your vote, and he's going to need you to help him with his campaign. No campaign works effectively without volunteers, so please reach out to him for one of those 3 or all 3, and I know he'll appreciate it.
I will. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dan. This is Tracy and Dan with Watch Kansas.